Pataka o Rakaihautu. Thanks, Peninsula. Pam, welcome to the table.
Yes, it's thanks, Peninsula. So, could I just say apologies from Joan this morning, but I have got a fine young lady giving me a hand this morning. So, Jo, thank you very much. I'd also like to say that I was actually a member of the Earthquake Appeal Trust that allocated that $15 million to that particular project. I have just been listening very quietly behind the scenes over the years as to where that might have gone and how it was being used, but it was part of the funds that we allocated quite some time ago now. So it's good to see it's still there, has got more money to it, and is going to be put to wise use down the track. It was put 15, and I don't know where you've got the extra $2.5 million from.
Yeah, we're going to get some information to the board so that they can be involved as they're able to be in making sure we get some good outcomes. All right, that's great. So Pam, thanks Peninsula.
Right, look, I'm delighted to be here this morning, and we're talking about Littleton Port Company, Community Services Award, Birdling's Flat Lighting and Adderley House, and there's a couple of other things that I would like to bring up. So, but the first one is about the long-term plan. Now, where are the no notes there? Oh, well, I have to use my notes here. But I just wanted to make a comment that acknowledged the extraordinary amount of work by all the parties involved, you know, both the council staff, our communities, and those that took part in the process. There are unbelievable pressures, and we need to understand the complexities of the process. But we need to also understand the role of the community and the importance of our community with a focus on the ratepayer. And I really want to raise even further the role of partnerships in our community, and that we can all do our little bit, whether it is adopt a culvert or sweep a footpath or whatever it might be. We need to do our little bit to help us along the way. So, and we've got a number of community working groups that have new community working groups. So I just want to acknowledge the fine work that went into that process over the time. This next one is about our Community Services Award, and we do ours every 3 years across the peninsula. We're actually at Kaituna, an amazing venue for a gathering. There was a special early award to Christine Wilson that we made prior to this day, but it was a stunning day, and what a range of skills in our community. From a musician, you can't actually just see him there, he's got a hat on his head there, you know, from those involved with community groups, championing communities groups. There's thousands of hours of service there. And I just really also want to acknowledge the support of our staff, the Banks Peninsula Community Board staff that assisted with putting this day together. Meredith Williams, who is actually retiring today, completed her term on her contract, short-term contract, is leaving us and going overseas or going back home again. But her support of this day was amazing, and the governance team that did the background work. So we had an amazing session together. Now, the importance of keeping in touch with the Littleton Port Company. We had a visit and an update now, so it was absolutely wonderful to go back down there and see the progress that's being made down there. But it was also a good reminder to remember what is still happening in the port. The port is still in dire straits, the wharves are looking in disrepair, but there's some amazing new buildings there, and we had an opportunity to meet at their office. So it's an important opportunity to meet with the CEO and keeping in touch with progress, understanding the issues, and showing that we as a community can actually work with them and assist them along the way. And so we're just looking at improving those relationships. And we continue to remind the Littleton Port Company of the importance of our community and how much they value having the port there too. So this is perhaps a view that you may not see often, but it came from one of the many. If you notice in our minutes that there's many community that come and talk to us at our meetings. You know, we have long lists of them, and this is from the Birdling's Flat community. You need to go for a drive down there sometime and see this amazing space, and what is provided down there now. It is a place to be. But they're also, the community came with us with this concern about the lighting that's down there, and that they don't want to see bright glary lights. They want to be a little bit like Tekapo. So we're just asking that if there is any work being done down there, that they actually talk with the Birdlings community before they actually go and design things. That if it's for safety, for walking or road safety or anything, that they actually talk with the Birdlings community first before they take off and do anything. They're a very proactive community and they want to be involved. Now this is a project that I especially wanted to talk about because it's been very successful, and I think that this is how we could be doing things down the track when we're looking at the significant ecological projects, significant ecological sites that we're moving into a process now. But this little house in Littleton is an amazing house. It's 75 David Street. It's a stone building built in the 1860s, and it was severely earthquake damaged and uninhabitable. So the owners have rescued and restored it, but the important part of it, and I want to acknowledge the work of the staff, this particular family didn't know that this was a heritage building. No one had said anything to them about it. I don't know how they didn't know about it being a heritage, but they knew it was important. But Brendan Smythe rang the family and said, hey, look, are you aware and that you've got a responsibility to repair it? And that was the start of a long journey. And they've had a wonderful working relationship with the council and the staff. It has worked tremendously well. They've had funding from all sorts of organisations, and they were nominated for a Heritage Ward. It's not completed yet. It's a bit early, but somebody nominated them, and they were delighted to be a part of it. So I just wanted to mention a couple of other things that are in those notes there. And there is there on page 13 a mention of the advisory 6.13 and the adopting of the Akaroa Public Realm Design Guidelines. As you all should know, Akaroa is a very special area. It's historic, it's got historic designations on it, and we've got public realm guidelines that go with it that have never been completed. They've been in the pipeline for a long time. They're sort of like your infrastructure standards that when you come to Akaroa you might look at those along with the public realm guidelines, and we would just like to support to finish those. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up from our notes was the pest-free Banks Peninsula, and that's mentioned on the back page of our report, item number 6, page 14, and that pest-free Banks Peninsula, it's an initiative between a number of parties to work collaboratively towards achieving effectively pest-free status for Banks Peninsula. And there has been an expert group that's been working behind the scenes, and they're looking to get an MOU signed off between the Christchurch City Council and this particular group. The group is made up a range of people: Environment Canterbury, Department of Conservation, I think Landcare might be there as well. There's a number of experts there that are working to get this over the line, and they're coming to the Infrastructure and Transport Environment Committee on the 11th of July, and hopefully that committee will agree to, and the board is supportive of recommend that committee enters into the MOU and nominates 2 councillors, including Deputy Mayor, to sign off on behalf of the council. And there's proposed to be a public signing event later in September. So that's something that's coming to that particular committee. The board is very supportive of this concept, and I will attend on the 11th of July. But I haven't been involved with it, but aware of what's going on. So there we are. There's a snapshot from Banks Peninsula.
Thank you very much indeed, Pam, for that update. That does leave us time for some questions. Are there any questions for Pam this morning? No questions. Great. Just coming back to the Birdlings flat matter.
Yes.
That was particularly relating to replacing the existing street lamps with LEDs, right, and also the possibility of reducing some of the street lamps in Birdlings flat to reduce light pollution, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes. So they're looking at, the board is going to get an update on that, and so that we understand a little bit more about it, and hopefully we'll get the community involved in that down the track. Yeah, great. All right, thanks for those updates. So we've got a resolution in front of us to receive the Community Board report, which I'm happy to move. Dion's happy to second. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? That's carried. Thank you very much. Thanks, Pam.